The efforts to replace this bridge are probably 30 years old. I don't think you can be over-exaggerating by saying it's the lifeline into Western Klickitat communities like White Salmon.
We've got this bi-state working group that has passed legislation in both states to form this new equal bi-state bridge authority. Even though people may not see all the various issues that are happening to this bridge, including under the water with those piers, because after a while you can only polish a doorknob so many times, it's going to eventually need to be replaced.
The bridge was needing to close absolutely for about a 72-hour period. You have to plan for the worst case scenario, but no one wants to ever see that realized. And here was going to be this window into what was it like if that bridge was gone. No access at all, not even to emergency vehicles. And so we threw the question out there into the community to get input.
We had to cancel $22,000 in sales that morning. We couldn't physically get the trucks all the way around the Dalles, get them loaded, and get to the job on time. The community is super important to my family and myself. My dad and my uncle started the company in the late 60s. It's what put our bread on the table for 50 years. It's time perishable loads, and we have to get the concrete there when we say we're going to get it there. Without the bridge, the business wouldn't be able to survive. We wouldn't be able to employ those people. And they all have families and they all have homes. So it's my duty to continue to service the community and give back to them. Some weeks we lose money. We don't want to do that. It's not what business is about.
Should this bridge have a horrible accident or something that takes it out of commission before our timeline of even replacing it, it is an immediate impact.
It's been my dream for a long time to start a school like this and to be a part of that kind of small community. I think if the bridge wasn't there, it would be a really difficult decision, but there is not enough here on one side of the river to create the life that we want to create for our family. I am a mother of 2 children, and I also am the head of school at a not-for-profit independent school. So we do a lot of bridge driving every day. We have students from the Oregon side, but we also have students from White Salmon, from Trout Lake. The weekend the bridge closed, we found that we were only staffed at half capacity because the staff was going to be so long to drive around that it wasn't worth it for them to come for their shorter shifts. We have a vibrant community here in the Gorge, and the bridge is really what allows us to bring it all together. And without the bridge, we really couldn't do what we do at our school.
When you have these types of projects that really are at the mercy of certain local people stepping up and being the leadership that carries it a little bit forward and passes the baton, but at the same time, you're having to make sure that your project is getting the right attention at these other levels. The reality is we're a town of 2,500. We're never gonna have the budget, and neither of any of these neighboring agencies, like the Port of Hood River, who actually owns this bridge, to invest in such a significant infrastructure project. That's a lot to expect when you see the inner workings of agencies of this size. It's a handful of individuals, also juggling everything else to run the city or the port's operations and businesses, or at the county level, all that they are overseeing. We cannot afford this bridge within our limited local budgets. But I think what's interesting right now is you see this investment at the federal level, one of the largest investments near term and maybe ever.
All of this effort to DC and in Olympia and Salem is really an attempt to find as much public funds that can offset the costs and the expense. Every public dollar that we have going into this project, we're going to be able to keep those tolls as low as possible. It really has a lot to do with the impacts to the users. So there's numerous closures, whether it's for welding the steel deck, for making repairs to the lifts. Some years it's millions of dollars. That's all money that could be and should be going into a new bridge. It's time right now to get this work done.
Over 10,000 separate farm operations travel their produce across this bridge. We are a gateway for wheat down the Columbia River, for a lot of the orchard and pear industry. We feed this country. This infrastructure project actually moves the needle on the sustainability of our community long term, more so than many of those projects that are higher profile or have larger government agencies behind them. Investing and being able to support the $500 million needed for this bridge is such a game changer changer for these communities. It allows them to continue to exist. This is how you invest in these types of programs and bridges that actually give these communities the opportunity to be resilient.